Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It all seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Mm. 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 Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It all seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. People done gone crazy. People done gone mad. People done forgot the superpowers we all have. We were born to love, not hate. We can decide our fate and look for the good in everyone and celebrate all our mistakes. There's a silver lining. Still have to find it, find it, find it. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who can set your soul free. Oh, it seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone needs sunshine. Everyone needs rain. Everyone is carrying around some kind of pain. See who you are. You're just like me. I see you searching for a purpose, guided by a dream. I see who you are, just like you. I get lost sometimes and I forget what I came here to do. I keep on trying. When it gets frightening, yeah, look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. Oh, it seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good, look for the good, look for the good in everyone. Everyone is nature, everyone is God, everyone is love and light and vibration. Look for the good, look for the good. Everyone gets mad sometimes, maybe they should. Look for the good, look for the good. Look out there for the heroes in your neighborhood. Look for the good, look for the good. Life would sure be sweeter if everybody would look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to Unity of the Seacoast's Sunday service for March 13th, 2022. And thank you, Barbara Whitney, for another wonderful gift you've given us this morning. Barbara is the music director here at Unity of the Seacoast, and you get extra credit today if you know what long-running Seacoast mainstay band she was a founding member of. So, good morning. Charlie Richard here. I'm a member and prayer chaplain here at Unity of the Seacoast. We welcome any new folks who are joining us for the first time today. And we look forward to sharing us with you and hearing from you. Special little shout out this morning to Avery Alley, who's celebrating his birthday today. Avery was kind of born as a member of Unity of the Seacoast, and he brings us great joy when he's around. So let's see. Today, the daily word is light. The light of truth dissolves all darkness. A bird's cheerful song interrupts the quiet of the night. The dark sky grows lighter, and the puffy clouds begin to glow with a beautiful shade of pink. Brilliant rays announce the sun's arrival. The sun peeks over the horizon, flooding the new day with light. Light dissolves darkness in my consciousness in a similar way. At a challenging time, my heart responds to the hopeful thought that this too shall pass. Hope grows into faith as my mind opens to divine wisdom that is always mine to claim. Guided by the dawning light of truth, I see the way forward and follow it with confidence. As surely as each new day brings a sunrise, my faith assures me the light of truth will dissolve the darkness of any obstacle I may face. And from John chapter 1, verse 5, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. The light of truth dissolves all darkness. Today, we're light. Our mission statement here at Unity of the Seacoast is scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. And if you would like to join me in it, we are a loving, nurturing community dedicated to being a positive path to spiritual living, to awaken oneness with God within us all. So the sun's growing warmth in the morning means growth in nature, and it also means that walkabouts are in our near future. We enjoy on Saturday mornings, weather permitting, usually around 10 o'clock, to gather together in some lively public place where nature surrounds and gives us a chance to be with one another and share with one another, even though the world, the physical world in our governmental structures is opening up to allow us to gather again. We still like to do it in a nice, natural environment, be with one another and let the trees and the birds and the other plants soothe our spirits. So, Unity of the Seacoast has a prayer team, and we have a weekly prayer list. If you would like to get yourself or someone else or something else onto it, you can send an email to Tom, Reverend Tom, at tscheinler@yahoo.com. That's scrolling across the screen. Way easier for you to read it than listen to me spell it. We pray over the list for a month. Internally at Unity of the Seacoast, we have a prayer team of chaplains and ministers who pray over the list, and then we send it to Silent Unity at Big Unity in Missouri, where it's prayed over for another month. So you get lots of prayer at no cost to you. Please join us on that one. And if you would be so kind as to visit our website at unityoftheseacoast.org, I believe. If I'm incorrect, somebody please type that in for me. And we have lots of information, regular notifications that are going on, any special events. And we also have a library of past services and some writings from some of our Unity members. And I believe in the catalog, we also have some of our past First Monday meditations. Let's see. So also on that website, you can see our donate button. Tithely is the platform that we use for accepting donations and tithes. They will automatically send you a receipt, a notification once you have donated to keep for your tax records. And we are very grateful for tithes and donations. We are a spiritual family operating in the physical world. So it takes funds to provide services and pay the rent for whether we're in a physical space or pay the rent on the computers in our current environment. Let's see. And also, if you prefer to send a check or just send us a card or a note, our new mailing address is Unity of the Seacoast, P.O. Box 1676, Dover, New Hampshire, 03821. And I mentioned the first Monday of the month meditation, and that's 7 p.m. on the first Monday of every month. We open up to provide a meditation. Generally, they've been from a book called Effectual Prayer, written by Florence Folks. She's a Unity thinker, speaker, teacher, and a great joy to have as a resource for bringing us in alignment with the truth of who we are at the beginning of every month, just to give us a little boost going forward. Today we will be having a special meeting on Zoom following the service immediately. The meeting ID is scrolling also, but I will read it out here. It is 863-2107-5097. And we really need each of you to join this meeting. We're discussing the future of our church and selecting a board president, looking for your input. So please join us after the service for that. And we also are broadcasting live on YouTube and on our YouTube channel. If you just type in Unity of the Seacoast in the YouTube search button. And we have some of our past services there, and eventually the whole library should be migrated over to there as well. Again, the Zoom meeting ID is 863-2107-5097. Now we have a joyful time in our service where we apply the Sanskrit word namaste. And one in my interpretation of namaste is the light in me greets the light in you. And to do that, we put our hands together, we look into another person's eyes, and bowing say, Namaste. If you have someone physically present with you, please join them in it. Otherwise, join us all together in Namaste. I'll be right back. Namaste. Nice lady over there. And now, we welcome back Barbara with another beautiful tune. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Charlie. You know there's a light close by the front door. Don't forget the keys under the mat. When childhood stars shine, always stay humble and kind. Go to church 'cause your mama says to. Visit grandpa every chance that you can. It won't be wasted time. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb. Always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride. Always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip, and here's why. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Know the difference between sleeping with someone and sleeping with someone you love. I love you ain't no pickup line. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb. Always stay humble and kind. When those dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, and always stay humble and kind. When it's hot, eat a root beer popsicle, shut off the AC and roll the windows down. Let the summer sun shine, always stay humble and kind. Don't take for granted the love this life gives you. When you get where you're going, don't forget to turn around and help the next one in line. You always stay humble and kind.
Thank you again, Barbara. You are a joy and a light in our lives.
Thank you, Charlie.
And now I would like to welcome our minister, Tom Scheinler, who always has a delightful way of taking huge concepts and bringing them down to earth in ways that we can live with. So please welcome Tom.
Thanks, Charlie. I'm always happy to have you with us, Service. You just make me smile every time. And Barbara, thank you again. For those who don't know, I threw Barbara a curveball this week that she wasn't aware of until about a minute before the service, as I changed the topic. So the service I planned for this week, I will do next week. But Barbara, they still fit. Can I say? So thank you both. We come together today in the knowledge that there is one power and one presence in the universe, God the good and great, omnipresence. I would like us to get comfortable, find our comfortable breathing pace. In and out. Feet comfortable. Arms down to the elbows, fingers relaxed. Chest settling in. Feel everything leaving out through the legs, knees, ankles, and toes. There's a stress. And any heaviness that we've carried through the week melts away. And I invite you to go inside that spot in you, that quiet spot where you're connected with the best of you. It's full of openness and love and wisdom. In that spot where we are the true image of God. And I'd like you to carry that through today's talk. As we take a look at our place, our future, and what we mean to ourselves. So I invite you to come back and open your eyes. In 1802, a man named Phineas Quimby was born in Lebanon, New Hampshire, about an hour or so from here, just a stone's throw away. Same town that I bought my motorcycle in. He was an apprentice clockmaker, and as a young man, he developed tuberculosis. He tried what medicines were available to him at the time, but they did nothing to relieve him. So he began to study. He studied things like mesmerism, which is where we get that word mesmerize. It was focusing the mind on the health of the body. Phineas Quimby has been called the father of New Thought. New Thought in our country began right here in New Hampshire. He moved to Portland, Maine, where he developed his theories, and people began to come and listen. He treated over 12,000 people. And these types of healing places that he developed began to pop up. One popped up in Salisbury, Mass., another one in Concord, New Hampshire. Salisbury is just right where Unity of the River is, one town away. Unity in Maine, Westbrook is a town away from Portland, where he was. The one in Concord is where Mary Baker Eddy began Christian Science. This man's influence has spread around the globe to people like Thomas Troward, who was in India and in England at the same time. And he influenced Ernest Holmes in Science of the Mind. And in the States, from Phineas Quimby to Mary Baker Eddy to Emma Curtis Tompkins to Dr. E.B. Weeks, who spoke to a crowd who had two people who were suffering from illness. And those two people were Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, the founders of Unity. So all these paths overlap and New Thought philosophies developed. It began in original Christianity before it took a dramatic shift and evolved to what we now call traditional Christianity. Another thing in New Hampshire, in Franklin, New Hampshire, the Winnipesaukee River is a tiny little river. It dumps its little bit of water into a much bigger flow. And it may not seem like much, but it's at this point that the Pemigewasset River becomes the Merrimack River. That little flow converges on a bigger flow. And just like New Thought, that flow begins to change the world. For 100 years before Quimby and long after his lifetime, New Hampshire wood was the prominent wood for shipbuilding. Our wood built the ships that grew our nation. Our wood was used for ships all around the world and sailed to every port. Our wood became the boats that brought our products and the world products around the globe. They were used to set speed records, to fight wars, to protect our coast, and bring new people to new lands. The wood was cut along the banks of the river and then floated down to where the Merrimack began. And then it floated downstream, past Concord, past Manchester, past Lowell and Lawrence, all the way up to Salisbury and a little further south to Newburyport, where it was milled and cut into the wood that would change the world. I like to think about those two things, Phineas Quimby and New Hampshire lumber. We don't often think about the impact that New Hampshire has upon the world. The Phineas Quimby is like the little Winnipesaukee River. He was a small apprentice feeding his ideas to a bigger flow. And like the waters from that river, his ideas moved through and changed those same towns that the waters passed until the flow was so great it spread out to the world. Without New Hampshire, my friends, it's very possible that new thought might not look the way it does in our country. And I take great pride in that lineage. We're at a tipping point for Unity's footprint in this area. Unity in Westbrook, Maine is small. Unity on the river, the same river that go, Merrimack River, is a virtual church as we are. We've looked at places over the past week and we're trying to decide about becoming a brick and mortar church again. We will always be virtual, but we're thinking it's time we get back into a building. But folks, we're at a crossroads. We break even with our finances. We only have 2 members on our board. It's a sink or swim moment for us. I have this great vision of being a wonderful spiritual center for our community. I've made great friends within Unity who can offer us guidance. I look at our Christmas Eve service as an example. Faith Rivera, Reverend Russell Highland, Reverend Sandra Campbell. A couple years ago, we had Mary Ann Williamson speak at our church. I have the support of Unity of Anderson, Indiana, and the support of Unity of Redding, California. Because of my works on the Unity Study Bible, I have access to all of Truth Unity. We have the building blocks of a great church. And for those who don't know, our own Bev Raymond is taking the same ministerial classes that I am. I get so inspired thinking about building our church in the same place where it began in our country. These people walk the same streets that we do. They see the same sights. They had the same feelings. It's a sacred thing to me to be able to do this. Think about this, a place to gather, a place to meet, a friendly face when we come in, a place to hear talks and relax, a place for fellowship, food as we talk about our lives, a hug, a smile, a place that we can learn, and eventually a place that others want to join. Speakers from across the Unity and all over. I have this dream of someday talking at the Agape Center in Los Angeles. But I also have a dream of Dr. Michael Beckwith wanting to talk here. We've had guests during COVID, and virtual is nice because we don't have to fly people in. But to see these people live, we saw my son do a live show in Manchester last week. It's a whole new ballgame when you watch someone live. I think back to my first talk a couple of years ago. I was so nervous. I had no flow, and I was not good at it at all. I think back to August when I took this over. I had no flow. But I've been given a chance to grow and find a comfort level, and I'm still working on that. But it's something that we get to do together. We get to build this together. But right now we're at a standstill. Growing a church in a virtual world is very difficult. It takes constant thinking. It takes finding a way to connect. And that connection competes with Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, YouTube, checking email, grabbing a snack. And to be honest, it's much easier to turn the TV on than it is to watch a service. I once got cut off from a service in my own house because during the service, my son decided he was going to download a wrestling match. So distractions happen. We have to compete. But a gathering place is different. People attend for that. People drive for that. Is it enough? I don't know. Are we the seed that finally lifts us to a new future? Or do we keep the status quo? The place that we're looking at is back at the McConnell Center. It would increase our expenses by $9.54 per month. It would also take getting chairs and hooking up the internet. This place, we would have 3 rooms and a wide hall. 1 room for sanctuary, 1 room for an office and a place for the prayer chaplains to meet with people, and 1 for the youth. The wide hall would be a great staging area for food for the fellowships. We can hear Barbara live again. We can have a choir again. I guess what I'm asking from each of you is help envisioning this. Is it something that we can see as a group, or is it just my dream? Do I inspire you enough to stretch and reach, or do we begin to think about perhaps the days of unity in New Hampshire are done? Case and I talk about what is different now, why we have a hard time growing this church. I remember a couple years ago, we set up a booth for Apple Harvest Day. It was a nice day. I spent the day with Bonnie and Tracy, and that's when we became friends. One of the things that stuck out in my mind is that when people would walk up and ask us, what is unity? We had no easy answer. To be honest, we had no answer. We each fumbled trying to say something. We had flyers, but that didn't quite explain it either. That spoke to me. How can we be something in our community if we do not know what we are? I wonder if we know now. Why is now different? The first time I came to Unity of Seacoast, we had Phil and Marianne. They were fine people, but they were not Unity people, and they were part-time. Seth is a great man, and he was more in line with Unity. He was part-time. Growing a church is not a part-time thing. I'm not saying I'm any better. I'm saying I'm different, because I'm giving it a full-time commitment into developing our church and who we are. We have to be able to understand what we offer and what we are. What is unity? Unity is a positive, practical approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus and the power of prayer. Unity honors universal truths in all religions and respects each individual's right to choose their own spiritual path. God is spirit, the loving source of all that is. God is the one power, all good, everywhere present, all wisdom. God is divine energy, continually creating, expressing, and sustaining all creation. In God we live and move and have our being. In unity, some of the other ways we speak of God are life, love, source, principle, law, universal mind. We believe that God is intelligence, spirit, and all the principles known and unknown, science, quantum, exact. And we are each an expression of those principles. And as such, we have the power to co-create our lives. We use the Bible as a book of guidance, use an allegory, literal and metaphysical interpretations. I remember the first time I walked into a Unity church, I was lost. I had just begun the concept of healing myself. And I heard thoughts and beliefs that I thought I'd only thought of. God equals science, science equals God. I learned that my thoughts on God mattered, and others did as well. Because it's by exchanging these ideas that we expand. How many other churches do that? I learned to heal myself. I learned to love myself. I certainly did not get that as a youth, being taught that I was born a sinner, and I could not overcome that. I still don't know how they got any members using that theory. But we can be this for our neighbors and our community. What is it that attracted you to our church? What is it that made Bonnie and Lynn fight to keep it afloat? What is it that made 6 people decide to keep it open when wisdom said they should not? I look at the dots. When I moved back to New Hampshire, I told Casey I needed to find a Unity. I only knew of Unity on the river. But 2 nights later, we were sitting at the Shell at Henry Law Park, and I saw Stephen Thibault wearing a Unity of the Seacoast t-shirt. Each step has led me to each new moment and to talking with you. I had a new path, and that path is entwined here. But it's not about me. It's as much about you and what you see. Are you inspired? Are we inspired enough to share our church and to find ways to connect to others? Can you imagine the church that we can build if we use the strengths that we all have as people from New Hampshire? Can you imagine just getting a hug from Charlie each week? Can you see your community spreading that type of love? Can you see a community that is dedicated to each of us being an individual, free-thinking expression of that love from New Hampshire to the world? Is this something that we can see for our church? Or is it not? We're going to have a meeting following the service in about 6 minutes on Zoom. I posted the link. Charlie's mentioned it. I hope you guys join us so we can discuss this. It's a critical time for our church, and we need to do this as a family. Now comes the time when we turn our prayers to others and ourselves. Take a moment to think of those in need, those you know and do not know. For those listening on Facebook or YouTube, if you feel comfortable, type their initials in the comment box. If that's uncomfortable, then just hit a heart emoji or typed in loved one or something. We hold these people in wholeness, light, and love. We affirm their wholeness and health. And I suggest that if you can, if you're able to, reach out to them and tell them that you've prayed for them this week. Because the fastest way for a prayer to land is to contact that person and show them some love. And now we turn to another prayer, the prayer of tithings and affirmations. Our church functions because of gifts like you. We can give to the community and we can grow. This is an important part of our church because it's a barometer of inspiration, but we get to reach out and help our world. So place your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. And so it is. And as always, we'd like to close this service out with a prayer of protection. And we send this out across the globe to those who know and those we do not know. And I always say divine love, or I would say light of God surrounds you, because until we're together, I want you to know I mean this for you. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well, and we are richly blessed. Amen.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let there be peace on earth, let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, let it begin with me.